My name is Gracia Koele. I'm from West Des Moines, Iowa. In my free time, I like playing or listening to music. I play some musical instruments. I play the piano and the harp. I like to cross stitch and do puzzles. Well, I went to school in West Des Moines. I went to Valley High School. I'm a history major and an anthropology minor. I mostly take history classes. I have taken a lot of classical studies classes, some like religion and sociology classes. While I toured a bunch of schools, I kind of thought I was going to stay in Iowa. Iowa State was probably the best option. It's close to my family. It's only about 40 minutes away, and I like that it's kind of a bigger school. That's what I was looking for, not a small school. But it's still enough of like a city where there's like things to do. I had a family friend that was interning with University Museums. So I kind of talked to her. She showed me around Iowa State. She kind of told me about University Museums, which got me interested. And then she got me in contact with Allison.
I'm Allison Sheridan. I'm the curator of the Farmhouse Museum and the collections manager.
I emailed Allison before coming here and she wanted to wait a semester. So my second semester I emailed her and there was just an open spot with Sydney to intern. So I just kind of landed there. Sonia, she showed me around all the museums in the campus. So I kind of saw them before. I started at the Christian Peterson. And there I was doing kind of a lot of varied stuff. I was doing collections, so I was kind of organizing and cataloging. But then I was also working with art on campus collections, so I was going out and tracking down art and like cleaning and waxing sculptures. And I also did a little bit of kind of exhibit stuff, setting up lighting and cleaning.
The Pohlman Fellowship was established in 2019. And it was established as part of a legacy gift from Lori Jacobson.
And she was an undergrad who worked with University Museums, which inspired her to kind of go into a career of museum work. And she worked really closely with Lynette, named the fellowship after her. And so it's designed for kind of undergrads like me who want to go into museum work to kind of get a feel for what it is and get a lot of experience.
And it is monitored by her husband, Jason Kogan, and it really does establish a fellowship for an undergraduate student to explore museum careers more in depth than an internship. It provides pay to them, which is really important, but it also provides experiences such as working with curators, such as myself, within the collection, special events, as well as getting professional development.
Well, I was thinking I was going to wait a year before applying, but then I talked to Lynette and Sydney, and Lynette kind of explained the story of like her and Lori and how they worked together and how this fellowship kind of came about, and she encouraged me to apply, and I thought it was really inspiring, her story, and so I applied earlier than I thought I would, but yeah.
Gracia's been with us for several years. She started in her second semester in her freshman year, and she has worked in different capacities with us through internships. And we chose her after a selection process. She applied just like everyone else. And so she was kind of a known quantity. She's a wonderful, diligent worker. And so she was chosen to be the Pohlman Fellow last fall, and then has continued on and will continue through the next semester through her final semester at Iowa State.
So I'm assigned a mentor and I work closely with them, and they kind of curate what you're doing specifically. So it kind of changes from fellow to fellow, and they kind of guide you down the path that you want to go specifically.
The mentorships rotate around, and so Lynette Pohlman can be a mentor, or any of the curators can be mentors. For example, the last curator to be a mentor was Adrian, and then I am taking this round with Gracia, and so it will choose, once we choose the next Pohlman Fellow, that curatorial role will come into play and will match that person with their desired learning outcomes.
So my mentor is Allison Sheridan, and we had already kind of talked before and knew that I had a specific interest in collections. So she kind of tailored what I was doing so I could specifically focus on that. And she's been checking on my progress all along, and she's planned a new kind of project for me to start next semester.
As her mentor, I actually mentor her. Gracia's wonderful. She's fairly hands-off, she's fairly independent, but I make sure that the projects stay on task, that we outline projects clearly, and that she has good end goals, and then that she can check in throughout the time so that we make sure that she's getting her questions answered and that the project is going to be completed. So for example, right now she's working on some collection work for me, as well as working on some curatorial work for the Farmhouse Museum. And so I check in with her periodically, and it really helps to make sure that she is getting out of the task that she's been assigned a learning experience that meets her end career goals.
So basically this fall semester I've been working on kind of a semester-long project, which is kind of continuing what I did in the summer. It was at the farmhouse. Me and another intern kind of started cataloging and photographing everything that we could. Yeah, in the farmhouse we created this kind of mobile studio. So we had like a table and this dark gray backdrop, and we had 2 lights on either side so that we could take our pictures. And so this semester I've been uploading those photographs, but then I've been also going back into the files and finding all the information on stuff that we don't have in our online system. So I've been digitizing that, which is pretty much taking me the whole semester. We uploaded to the computer, and then we had to label all of them, and then we had to move them into a file. And that was just what we did that summer. And then later I've been working on uploading them. I would say last summer we did the whole of the old kitchen and a little bit of the dining room. It was probably over 500, definitely in the hundreds, at least, yeah. So there was a lot of stuff that we moved, and we just carried kind of a bunch over to the studio. But then all like the tables and the furnace and all the kind of pie chests, we had to move our kind of studio into the room, kind of move stuff around, just take pictures like in the kitchen. Yeah, I've learned a lot about object handling, especially photographing objects. It was the first time that I've kind of mass photographed objects, so especially like photographing glass, trying to like focus. I learned all about that. I had no idea how to do that before. And I've learned a lot about how to safely move objects. I guess it was a kind of a complicated process because there's so many objects, especially like glass dishes, that you kind of have to carry one by one, kind of back and forth, make sure there's not too many like stacked up. Some of the heavier stuff we have to carry together so we're not dropping it or sliding it along the floor and damaging the floor. So we have the image, and we have to make sure they're labeled and all organized. And then we upload them to the A drive, which is kind of a shared drive, so that we can access them on any computer. And then I had to go into the files and kind of make sure I had all my information together, so then I could upload that with the picture. So all of the pictures and the information is uploaded to our online database management, which is also called TMS, the museum system. And then that is linked back to our website, so all that information is viewable online, all the images I put up, all the text I put in. It's all available online to our public, to students, to teachers, to anyone who wants to see it. Anyone who has internet and can get on can see it. It's given me a lot of experience, and it's also helped me kind of back up the museum's information, all the kind of stuff that we had written down. I've been able to digitize, so a lot of the objects that we had no kind of even entry for, I've been able to go into the files and find all the written text and now update it to kind of the modern era.
Gracia's projects were chosen for her with her kind of talents in mind, as well as, again, an end goal. And so she's really quite good at collections management, and that entails everything from object photography to processing, records keeping, database entry. She's very, very fluent in our database, which is the museum system. And she works really hard to make sure that she produces quality work, which is always key when you're working in a major database that's then published online through our e-museum. So what her work happens to do is add to our database that then is accessible by anyone online.
It's a lot of work to kind of digitize everything, but it's really nice to see because I know that once I've done it, it like never needs to be done. It's always there. Anyone can see it. And even like museum staff can always, like, there's never a gap just because I've been able to fill that gap, which makes me happy.
Her other project, the curatorial project for the farmhouse, matches kind of with her research interests. And so we're looking at exploring kind of World's Fairs, World's Expos, and Centennial expositions that align with the World's Fair timeline and objects that we have in the collection, as well as with the farmhouse. All of our internship and Pohlman Fellowship projects ultimately benefit the museums. Gracia's projects, whether they're curatorial or collection management, help us to move our mission forward. And so the collection management aspect of that, again, helps to bolster our online records database. And so she really helps to make sure that information is accessible and accessible to all. It also helps us move our collection forward and having the best photography, having the clearest records, the cleanest records. And it's an ongoing process. It's kind of a never-ending process. Curatorially, when she works at the farmhouse, she will be helping to augment learning, visual learning, as well as object-based and primary source learning at the farmhouse, again, fitting within the farmhouse's mission.
I really like this fellowship because it's really taught me a lot about museums. When I came to Iowa State and kind of thought, oh, I might want to do museums, I didn't really know what that entailed, but this fellowship has really kind of shown me a lot about museums. And it's helped me decide that I like collections management, which I never would have known before this internship and fellowship. So that's something I really like and I'm really grateful for. A lot of my work specifically is kind of self-driven, so I have to keep myself accountable, make sure that I'm on task and that I'm completing my work. This fellowship has given me a lot of experience, a lot of opportunity to do things that I never would have done before and that I now can say that I've done. And when I go off to grad school or find a job, I can be able to write down and say, I've already done this before, I have this experience, which I think is going to really help me in my later life.
With the professional development aspect of the Pohlman Fellowship, we actually try to either get the student to attend a large conference or even a small conference, or we can kind of finagle it a little bit. And so Gracia has already attended the Iowa Museum Association conference. And so as the next part to her Pohlman Fellowship, we're looking at doing kind of an independent professional development and tour around Iowa, hopefully getting into some collection storage spaces and seeing kind of behind the scenes at some of the museums. And so we'll spend several days driving around Iowa and fulfilling different appointments that we will make and making sure that she gets to see different types of museums and different types of collections.
And this is a paid fellowship, which helps me balance my life because I'm working and getting experience, but I can also have time to focus on school and not work a different job. After I finish my fellowship, I'll have 1 semester left of college, and then I'll graduate and I'll start applying to grad school as well. I think I'm going to specifically focus on collections management or something similar.
Other projects in the past have included curatorial work, mainly the Japanese exhibition that was several years ago, as well as a Depression-era prints exhibition and some virtual programs. We always like to tie in virtual programming so that people can get an update on what our fellows are working on. It also gets our fellows involved with kind of a public speaking opportunity, as well as a programmatic opportunity and education for university museums. This is absolutely a fantastic experience, whether it's an internship or a fellowship. Anytime you can get hands-on experience with university museums, or any museum for that matter, it truly is beneficial. It's kind of putting you into the deep end of the pool and seeing if you really enjoy swimming in this pool, and maybe even giving you the opportunity to play in different areas, curatorial areas, education areas, art on campus. You could do cleaning, you could do everything from object care, object maintenance, to, again, object photography and curatorial work for us. And so it really is kind of exposing students to that broader work that museum people often do. The Pohlman Fellowship is open to anyone that meets the qualifications. All of the qualifications can be found on our website. It is an applied process, and so you do have to apply. We as a crew kind of evaluate all the applicants and rank them, and then sometimes we have exterior folks weigh in so that we're making the best selection. Again, we want to make sure that it is meeting your curriculum needs, your career wants and goals, as well as work for university museums. For internships and the fellowship usually runs about a year. Gracia's fellowship is a little different. It's about a year and a half to meet her graduation needs, but interns and fellows can apply routinely. Check our website. Usually it aligns with the semester, but please plan ahead. You can go online and submit an application now for the following spring. And so it really is all about kind of when you find the time to apply and when we open it up. So please check our website, museums.iastate.edu.
I would say just do it. Yeah, I even thought I would wait a year and then apply, but it just kind of worked out that I applied, and it just kind of worked out. Like, I wasn't expecting that. So I would say, even if you're kind of thinking about it, I would say just apply.